Imagine believing your body is your greatest weakness. You're Diana Hayes, 27 years old, and you're fat. Society has taught you that being fat is a curse, that your weight makes you weak, undesirable, inferior, broken. You've spent your entire life hearing that your fat body is something to fix, something to hide, something to be ashamed of. You work as a physical therapist, helping others become strong while believing you're fundamentally weak because of your size. Today, you're at the gym when a man approaches you, impossibly tall with long flowing hair and eyes that glow red. Your body is extraordinary, he says, watching you lift weights. The strength, the power, the capability. You're remarkable. You're confused. No one has ever called your fat body powerful. His name is Lord Damian Wolfe, vampire and billionaire. And he's about to prove that what you thought was your greatest curse is actually your greatest power. That fat bodies are strong and capable and powerful. And that the woman who believed she was weak is actually extraordinarily strong. Diana Hayes had learned early that being fat was a curse. Not from one specific moment, but from a lifetime of messages telling her that her body was fundamentally wrong. At 8 years old, being picked last for sports teams because teachers assumed fat kids were slow and weak. At 13, having doctors tell her that every health problem was caused by her weight, that losing weight would magically fix everything. At 16, watching thin girls get cast in school plays while she was told she didn't look the part for any role. At 20, having personal trainers at the gym tell her she needed to lose weight so before she could be really strong. At 27, Diana was a physical therapist, someone who helped others become strong and capable. But she believed her own fat body was weak, inferior, fundamentally flawed. Being fat is a curse, Pansama, Diana told her friend Marcus one evening. It makes you weak. It makes you incapable. Society is right. Fat bodies are inferior. I help people get strong every day, but I know I'll never be truly strong myself because I'm fat. That's just reality. That's not true, Marcus protested. You're a physical therapist. You know strength doesn't correlate with size. I know what I'm supposed to say professionally, Diana interrupted. But personally, I know the truth. Fat bodies are weak. My fat body is my greatest weakness. It's a curse I can't escape. Today, Diana was at her gym doing her own workout. Heavy weightlifting that she did privately, away from judgmental eyes. She could deadlift 275 pounds, squat 225 pounds. She was objectively strong, but she believed that didn't count because she was fat. She was in the middle of a heavy deadlift set when she sensed someone watching. Diana set the bar down and turned to find a man standing nearby, impossibly tall, at least 6.5 feet, with long, flowing black hair past his shoulders and eyes that seemed to glow faintly red. That was impressive, the man said. 275 pounds for 5 reps. Excellent form. You're very strong. Diana felt defensive immediately. I'm just doing my workout. I'm not looking for commentary. I'm not commenting to criticize, the man replied. I'm commenting because I'm genuinely impressed. Your body is extraordinary. The strength, the power, the capability you demonstrate. You're remarkable. My body is fat, Diana stated flatly. That's not extraordinary. That's a curse. I'm weak because I'm fat. Everyone knows that. The man looked genuinely confused. You just deadlifted 275 pounds. That's not weak. That's objectively strong. Why do you believe you're weak? Because I'm fat, Diana repeated. Fat bodies are weak. That's just fact. I may be able to lift weights, but I'm still fundamentally weak because of my size. That's the curse of being fat. Even when you're technically strong, you're still inferior. That's completely incorrect, the man stated firmly. Diana Hayes, your name tag says Diana. I'm Lord Damian Wolfe. I'm vampire and billionaire. I've lived 3,000 years. I've known countless strong people. And I'm telling you, your fat body is not weak. It's powerful. The strength you just demonstrated is extraordinary. Your body is a source of power, not weakness. You're lying, Diana said. Or you're being sarcastic. No one thinks fat bodies are powerful. Society makes it very clear. Fat equals weak. My body is my curse. It's what makes me inferior. Your body is your power, Damian corrected firmly. And I'm going to prove it to you. Diana, you're a physical therapist. You understand biomechanics and strength. You know objectively that you're strong. You just lifted more than most people in this gym can lift. Why do you refuse to accept that strength as real? Because I'm fat, Diana whispered. Because society says fat bodies can't be strong. Because I've spent 27 years learning that my weight makes me weak. Because being fat is a curse that overrides everything else. Even if I'm technically strong, I'm still fundamentally weak. That's what being fat means. Damian looked at her with something like sourness. Diana Hayes, he said gently. What if everything you've learned about your body is wrong? What if being fat isn't a curse? What if your body, exactly as it is actually powerful and capable and strong? Would you let me prove that to you? That's impossible, Diana stated. Being fat is a curse. That's just reality. Let me show you different reality, Damian requested. Please, give me a chance to prove your body is power, not curse. Diana agreed to meet Damian for coffee, partially from curiosity, partially because some small part of her wanted to believe her body might not be the curse she'd always thought it was. You said my fat body is powerful, Diana stated bluntly once they were seated. Explain. How can a fat body be powerful when society makes it very clear that fat equals weak? Society is wrong, Damian replied simply. Diana, you're a physical therapist. You understand strength objectively. You deadlift 275 pounds. You squat 225 pounds. Those are numbers that demonstrate real strength. Why do you believe that strength doesn't count because you're fat? Because strength is supposed to come with being thin and fit, Diana explained. I'm strong despite being fat, not because of any quality of my fat body. My strength is technical ability overcoming my body's fundamental weakness. The fat itself is still a curse. What if the fat is part of your strength? Damian suggested. Diana, think about biomechanics. Your body has more mass, more substance. That provides stability, leverage, power. Your fat body gives you advantages in strength that thinner bodies don't have. It's not a curse you're overcoming. It's a feature that contributes to your power. Diana stared at him. That's not how it works. Fat is just excess. It's weakness. It makes you slow and incapable. You're not slow, Damian interrupted. I've watched you move. You're quick, coordinated, capable. You have excellent body awareness and control. Diana, everything you believe about fat bodies being weak is contradicted by what your own body can do. Why do you trust society's lies over your own experience? Because I've spent 27 years learning those lies, Diana admitted quietly. Every doctor, every trainer, every media message has told me that fat equals weak, that my body is broken, that I need to lose weight to be truly strong and capable. How do I just unlearn that? By looking at evidence, Damien stated. Diana, you're a scientist. You're a physical therapist. You understand evidence-based practice. What does the evidence say? You're fat. You're also objectively strong. You can lift more than most people at your gym. You're capable. You help others improve their strength and mobility professionally. You're coordinated. You move with excellent body control. The evidence says your fat body is powerful and capable. Why do you reject that evidence in favor of society's beliefs? Over the following weeks, Damien challenged every belief Diana had about her body being weak. When Diana said fat people can't be athletic, Damien showed her videos of fat athletes competing at high levels. Powerlifters, weightlifters, strongman competitors, all demonstrably fat and extraordinarily strong. When Diana said fat bodies are inherently unhealthy, Damien connected her with fat people who had excellent health markers, good blood pressure, good cholesterol, good fitness levels, all while being fat. When Diana said fat people are lazy and undisciplined, Damien pointed out that she herself was neither. She worked hard, trained consistently, helped others professionally, all while being fat. Every belief you have about fat being a curse is contradicted by evidence, Damien stated after a month of these conversations. Diana, you're living proof that fat bodies can be strong, healthy, capable, and powerful. When will you accept that? It's hard, Diana admitted. I've built my entire identity around the idea that my fat body is my weakness, that I'm fundamentally inferior because of my weight. If I accept that my body is actually powerful, then I've wasted 27 years hating myself for no reason. That's painful to consider. But also liberating, Damien noted. Diana, imagine believing your body is powerful. Imagine knowing your fat doesn't make you weak. It's just part of who you are. And you're strong anyway. Imagine trusting your own body's capabilities instead of society's lies. Wouldn't that be worth the pain of realizing you've been wrong? Diana looked at this vampire who'd spent a month systematically dismantling every negative belief she had about her fat body. You really believe my fat body is powerful? Diana asked quietly. I know it is, Damien confirmed. Diana, I've watched you lift. I've seen your strength. I've observed your capability. Your fat body is not a curse. It's power. And I want to help you see that. Will you let me? I want to believe you, Diana whispered. I want to believe being fat isn't a curse, that I'm not fundamentally weak. Can you really prove that? Yes, Damien stated firmly. I'll prove your body is power. Watch. Over the following months, Damien helped Diana systematically reframe every belief she had about her fat body being a curse. Today, we're going to do something different, Damien announced one day at the gym. I've arranged for you to train with a powerlifting coach who specializes in working with fat athletes. She's going to show you how your body type provides specific advantages in strength sports. The coach, a fat woman named Sarah, who could deadlift over 400 pounds, worked with Diana for 2 hours. Fat bodies have advantages in powerlifting that thin bodies don't, Sarah explained. More body mass means more potential for muscle, more stability, better leverage for certain lifts. Your fat isn't working against you, Diana. It's working for you. Your body type is actually ideal for strength. You just need to see it that way. Diana lifted more that day than she ever had before. And for the first time, she wondered if her fat body might actually be contributing to her strength rather than limiting it. You set a personal record today, Damien observed afterward. 300-pound deadlift. That's extraordinary, Diana. Your fat body just demonstrated remarkable power. Do you see it? I'm starting to, Diana admitted. Sarah said my body type is ideal for strength. I've never heard anyone say being fat is ideal for anything. It's always been framed as something to fix. But today I felt powerful. Not despite being fat. Just powerful. That's what I've been trying to show you, Damien stated. Your fat body is powerful. Period. Not powerful despite being fat. Just powerful. The fat is part of you, and you're powerful. They're not separate things. 3 months after meeting Damien, Diana's entire perspective had shifted. She no longer saw her body as a curse she was overcoming. She saw it as the source of her strength. I deadlifted 325 pounds today, Diana told Damien excitedly. That's more than I ever thought possible. And Sarah said my body type, my fat body, gives me advantages for that lift. Damien, I think I'm starting to believe it. My fat body isn't weak. It's actually contributing to my power. You're seeing what I've seen all along, Damien replied. Diana, you were always strong. You just didn't recognize it because you'd been taught to see your fat as weakness. But your fat is just part of your body, and your body is powerful. Always has been. 6 months after meeting Damien, Diana competed in her first powerlifting competition, a competition specifically for athletes of all body types, where fat lifters competed alongside thin lifters, and everyone was judged purely on strength. Diana lifted more than many thinner competitors. She placed in the top 5 in her weight class, and for the first time in her life, she felt genuinely powerful. I came in 5th, Diana told Damien afterward, tears in her eyes. Out of 20 lifters. My fat body, the body I thought was my greatest weakness, just demonstrated more strength than most competitors. Damien, I was wrong. Being fat isn't a curse. My body is powerful. Your body was always powerful, Damien corrected gently. You just needed to see it. Diana, you've spent 27 years believing your fat made you weak. Now you know different. Your fat body is strong and capable and powerful. How does that feel? Liberating, Diana admitted. And also sad. I wasted so many years hating my body, thinking it was broken, believing I was fundamentally inferior. All that pain was unnecessary. My body was fine all along. It was powerful all along. I just couldn't see it. But now you can, Damien stated. And Diana, now that you know your fat body is powerful, what will you do with that knowledge? Diana thought about all the other fat people who believed what she used to believe, that their bodies were curses, that they were fundamentally weak, that being fat meant being inferior. I want to help others see what you helped me see, Diana decided. I want to teach other fat people that their bodies are powerful, that being fat isn't a curse, that they're strong and capable exactly as they are. Can I do that? Yes, Damien confirmed. Diana, you're living proof that fat bodies are powerful. Share that proof. Teach others. Transform the curse into power for everyone who needs to learn. That's what I'll do, Diana stated firmly. I'll teach others their fat bodies are power, not curses. 9 months after Diana met Damien at the gym, he told her he loved her. I love you, Damien stated simply. All of you. Your strength, your determination, your fat body that you've learned to see as powerful. Everything. I love you, Diana. Diana felt tears forming. You love me? My fat body included? I love you, including your fat body, Damien corrected. Diana, your body isn't something I love despite. It's part of who you are completely. You're strong, capable, powerful. Your fat body contributes to that power. I love all of you, mind, personality, and yes, your powerful fat body. Will you accept that? I'm learning to, Diana admitted. 9 months ago, I believed being fat was my greatest curse. You taught me it's actually part of my power. If I can learn that my body is powerful, I can learn that someone loves it too. Damien, I love you too. Then marry me, Damien requested. Diana Hayes, you've transformed from believing you're weak to knowing you're powerful. You've learned your fat body is strength, not curse. I want to spend forever with you. Will you marry me? Yes, Diana said through tears. Yes, I'll marry you. They married 6 months later. During the ceremony, Damien's vows addressed Diana's transformation. Diana, when we met, you believed being fat was a curse that made you fundamentally weak. You couldn't see that your fat body was actually powerful and capable and strong. I've spent 15 months helping you see what I saw from the beginning. That you're extraordinary. Your strength, your capability, your powerful fat body. You're not weak. You never were. You're powerful. I promise to keep reminding you of that power every day, for always. Diana's vows were equally emotional. Damien, you took someone who thought her body was her greatest weakness and taught her it was her greatest strength. You showed me that fat bodies are powerful, that strength exists at every size, that what I thought was a curse was actually power. You transformed how I see myself. I promise to use that transformation to help others, to teach other fat people their bodies are powerful, to turn the curse into power for everyone. I love you. Forever. 1 year into their marriage, Damien raised the topic of immortality. I'm vampire, Damien explained. I'm immortal. You're human. Eventually you'll age while I don't. Diana, I can offer you transformation, vampire immortality. But you need to understand, transformation doesn't change body type. You'd still be fat. You'd have enhanced strength on top of the strength you already have, but your body size wouldn't change. Is that acceptable? Diana thought carefully. You're asking if I'd want to be vampire even though I'd stay fat forever? Yes, Damien confirmed. You'd be a powerful fat vampire. Forever. No chance to ever become thin. Can you accept that? Damien, a year ago I would have done anything to not be fat, Diana admitted. I saw my fat body as a curse I desperately wanted to escape. But you taught me my fat body is powerful. You helped me see that being fat doesn't make me weak. It's just part of who I am, and I'm strong. So yes, I want transformation even if I stay fat. My body is powerful now. It'll be even more powerful as vampire. I don't need to change my body. I just need to enhance the power that's already there. Transform me. You're certain? Damien asked. Fat and immortal. Forever powerful in a fat body. Forever having society judge you. Can you handle that? Yes, Diana stated firmly. Because I know now that society's judgment is wrong. My fat body is powerful. Being immortal in this body means I can help people forever. I can teach fat people their bodies are powerful forever. Society's judgment is irrelevant compared to that purpose. Transform me, Damien. I want to be powerful forever. The transformation took 3 days. When Diana woke as a vampire, she was exactly the same physically. Still fat, still soft and strong. And she immediately tested her new strength. She could now deadlift 600 pounds effortlessly. "I'm still fat," Diana observed, looking at herself. "And I'm absurdly powerful. This is perfect. My fat body was already strong. Now it's extraordinarily strong. This is everything." "How do you feel?" Damien asked. "Like power itself," Diana replied. "Like living proof that fat bodies are strong, forever." 5 years after Diana's transformation, she'd become known in both human and vampire communities as someone who taught fat people to see their bodies as powerful rather than cursed. "You've trained hundreds of people at this point," Damien observed one evening. "Fat humans and fat vampires, teaching them all that their bodies are powerful, not weak. Why is this work so important to you?" "Because I wasted 27 years believing my fat body was a curse," Diana replied. 27 years thinking I was fundamentally weak because of my size. That's cruel and unnecessary. If I can help people learn their bodies are powerful sooner than I did, then every moment of that work is worth it. Diana had created a gym specifically for fat people, a space where fat athletes could train without judgment, where strength at every size was celebrated, where fat bodies were recognized as powerful and capable. Traditional gyms made me feel like I shouldn't be there, Diana explained to new clients. Like my fat body didn't belong in spaces meant for real athletes. I created this gym to prove that fat bodies are real athletic bodies, that we're powerful, that we belong in strength spaces because we're strong. One day, a young fat woman came to Diana's gym in tears. "I'm weak because I'm fat," the woman, Taylor, sobbed. "Everyone knows fat people are weak and lazy. I hate my body. It's a curse. I wish I could be thin so I could finally be strong." "Being fat doesn't make you weak," Diana stated firmly. "Taylor, I'm fat. I can deadlift 600 pounds. I'm a vampire with extraordinary strength. My fat body is incredibly powerful. Fat doesn't equal weak. That's society's lie, not reality." "But you're different," Taylor started. "I'm not different," Diana interrupted. "I'm fat like you. 5 years ago, I believed exactly what you believe now, that my fat body was my greatest weakness, that being fat meant being inferior, that I was cursed. Then someone showed me evidence that contradicted those beliefs. Taylor, you're here at a gym. That means you want to train, to move, to be strong. That's not lazy. That's not weak. That's someone pursuing strength. Let me show you that your fat body can be powerful." Over the following months, Diana trained Taylor. She taught her to lift heavy weights, to see her body as capable, to recognize strength in herself. "I deadlifted 200 pounds today," Taylor told Diana excitedly after 3 months. "I never thought I could do that. My fat body, the body I thought was my greatest weakness, just lifted 200 pounds. Diana, I'm starting to believe what you said. Maybe being fat isn't a curse. Maybe I am strong." "You are strong," Diana confirmed. "Your fat body is powerful, Taylor. You just needed to see it. Keep training. Keep discovering your power. Show yourself what your body can do." Over the years, Diana helped hundreds of fat people learn what Damien had taught her, that fat bodies are powerful, that strength exists at every size, that what society calls weakness can actually be power. "You've transformed hundreds of lives," Damien told Diana on their 10th anniversary. "Every person you've trained has learned to see their fat body as powerful rather than cursed. That's remarkable work." "Because someone did that for me first," Diana replied. "Damien, You found me when I believed my fat body was my greatest weakness. You spent months proving I was powerful. That transformed my life. Now I transform others' lives the same way. That's the work. Teaching fat people they're powerful. That their bodies are sources of strength, not shame. That being fat is not a curse. Everyone deserves to know their body is powerful. The woman who thought being fat was a curse, Damien observed. Who learned it was her power, Diana finished. And who spent immortality teaching others the same lesson. That's who I am. That's what we built. 25 years after meeting Damien, Diana reflected on her transformation from believing she was fundamentally weak to knowing she was extraordinarily powerful. Do you ever miss believing your fat body was the problem? Damien asked. Never, Diana replied immediately. Believing I was weak was painful and limiting. Knowing I'm powerful is liberating. I'd never go back to thinking my body was a curse. It's my power. Forever. 50 years after Diana met Damien at the gym, they returned to that same location, now transformed into Diana's flagship training facility for fat athletes. 50 years, Diana said, looking at the space where she'd once deadlifted believing she was weak despite her strength. Half a century since you told me my fat body was powerful, and I thought you were lying or delusional. You believed being fat was a curse that made you fundamentally weak, Damien recalled. You could lift 275 pounds, but thought that didn't count as real strength because you were fat. You'd spent 27 years learning that fat equals weak. I spent 50 years proving fat equals powerful. Diana looked at what they'd built. Her training facilities across multiple cities, her online programs reaching thousands, her advocacy work changing how society viewed fat bodies and strength. We've helped so many people in 50 years, Diana noted. Through the gyms, the training programs, the competitions, the advocacy. How many fat people have learned their bodies are powerful because of our work? Tens of thousands trained directly, Damien replied. Millions reached indirectly through media coverage and cultural impact. Diana, you've created movements. You're teaching people that fat bodies are powerful, that strength exists at every size, that what society calls weakness is actually power. You've changed culture. A young fat woman approached them, one of thousands Diana had trained over the decades. Diana, the woman said with emotion, 15 years ago, I was suicidal because I believed my fat body made me worthless and weak. Then I found your gym. You taught me that my fat body could be powerful. I learned to deadlift, to squat, to see myself as strong. Now I'm a powerlifting champion. I competed at nationals last month. My fat body, the body I thought was my greatest curse, just won a national championship. You saved my life by teaching me I was powerful. That's what the work is for, Diana replied warmly. Teaching fat people they're powerful before they waste decades believing society's lies like I did. I'm glad you learned sooner. After the woman left, Damien held Diana close. That happens constantly, he observed. People you've trained, now living as powerful athletes and confident people because you taught them their fat bodies are strong. Diana, you've transformed culture. You've proven that fat bodies are powerful. Because you transformed me first, Diana replied. Damien, 50 years ago, you found me believing my fat body was my greatest weakness. I thought being fat was a curse that made me inferior. You spent months systematically proving I was powerful, showing me evidence, connecting me with fat athletes, helping me reframe every negative belief. That transformed my life. Now I've spent 50 years transforming others' lives the same way, teaching them their fat bodies are powerful, helping them discover strength they didn't know they had, proving that what society calls weakness is actually power. That's the legacy. They walked through the training facility together, two immortal vampires who'd built an empire proving that fat bodies are powerful. "You're still the strongest person I know," Damien told Diana. "Not just physically, though you can deadlift 600 pounds effortlessly, but mentally, you transformed from believing you were weak to knowing you're powerful, then spent 50 years helping others make that same transformation. That's extraordinary strength." "Because strength was always there," Diana confirmed. "I was always powerful. I was lifting 275 pounds when we met. I just couldn't see that power because I'd been taught to see my fat as weakness. You helped me see reality, that my fat body was strong, that fat doesn't equal weak, that I was powerful all along. Being fat wasn't my curse. Society's lies were the curse. Once I saw past those lies, I discovered my power." "The woman who thought being fat was a curse," Damien said. "Who learned it was her power," Diana finished. "Who spent 50 years teaching millions that fat bodies are strong, that strength exists at every size, that what society calls weakness is actually power. That's who I became. That's our legacy." "Forever," Damien agreed, pulling her close. "Forever powerful in your fat body. Forever proving strength has nothing to do with size. Forever teaching others their power. That's perfect. That's you." "Forever," Diana replied. "Fat and powerful. Turning the curse into power for everyone who needs to learn. That's everything. That's us. Forever."